Hello and welcome to the Aquarium Dilemmas podcast. I'm your host, ScienceGal Aquatics. I'm Kerri, and this is my co-host,
Jesse, and welcome to another wonderful edition of Aquarium Dilemmas. Thank you for tuning in.
Yes, thank you for listening. I greatly appreciate it. And today we have it's a little bit of a sadder topic, but I feel like it's a very important topic to talk about because it's something that no matter if you're new or experienced, you're always going to have fish die. And whether it's by accident or old age, just some things to remember, talk about, discuss.
Why
Things
do
I've done wrong that contributed.
why do fish die?
Yes.
And what are the unfortunately most popular reasons that fish die?
Some of the big ones I've ran into, definitely. But yeah, like I said, I feel like it's a topic that everybody runs into. You always have those fish pass away that you probably contributed to, and some accidents, things not to do.
Some reasons that you didn't contribute to.
Yeah, that's true. Sometimes you just cannot. There's nothing you can do also. There's just, no matter how hard you try, there's just nothing you can do. So, yeah. We're excited to talk about it with you, but yeah, it's a little sad, but important.
Very important. And it's a soft topic of it's going to happen no matter what. When you're in this hobby or any other hobby that has live animals, it's going to happen.
Yeah.
No matter how much you care.
Especially in the beginning. I feel like you're going to just lose more in the beginning of your fish keeping career than later on, but even saying that, you're still gonna have accidents and things just happen when you're experienced too. So,
well, and accidents that you may not even know about, you didn't even think about, and it just happened to you. And you were like, whoa, what just went on? Oh, whoa. Hey, hang on here. I got to back it up a minute. What happened?
Yeah. So, do you want to start off? What's the first thing that comes to mind for you when it comes to fish passing away?
Big one that you stressed to me when I first started really getting into the hobby with you would be overfeeding and why it's wrong.
Yes. I, especially in the beginning, still guilty now to this day, from time to time overfeed, and it will swing your just aquarium out of balance. It'll swing it in a direction that's just not very good. If you leave excess food in the bottom of your tank, it's gonna sour fungus, mold, and it's again just going to throw off the balance of your tank. So just no matter how hard your fish bag, I know some aquarium fish, I mainly keep live bears, but I've kept, seems like puffers. The puffers I've had in years past, they're so cute, and they will come up to the glass, and it's just like, feed me, and just don't fall for it. Don't fall for it, no matter how cute they are. Our silver arowana, I wouldn't say it's as cute as a puffer fish, but it's equally as aggressive when it comes to feed me now. And you don't have to just feed them till they are just overfed, or you've got so much food in the bottom of your tank you don't even know. Just don't do that.
Well, overfeeding can easily change the water parameters in your tank. And there's certain fish, if you overfeed them, it actually can cause them liver problems, eye problems. There's a lot of problems that can come with overfeeding your fish.
Yes.
And you're doing a very bad detriment to that fish by overfeeding it. You're causing them health problems like you would an adult as far as obesity and things like that. They are not healthy for the fish.
Yes, and not only overfeed, like don't overfeed your fish, but research the proper diet for that specific fish. I know I've lost plecos in years past because I did not realize that they just could not eat off of the dead stuff of the bottom of your tank. Some plecos need more meat, some need more protein, some need wood, certain driftwood in their tank. And it's really important that, yes, do not overfeed your fish, but know what diet they do need, because you can feed them every day and they're still not going to make it because they're not getting the nutrition to meet the
nutritional value that they need every day.
Yeah. I didn't realize that some fish just cannot survive on fish flakes. They need insects, larvae, and some brine shrimp. They need something that's more meaty in their diet. And I'm sure that I have lost fish in years past because I thought I was feeding them correctly, but I was not. And that they lived a while, but they did not live to what their potential was.
Oh, absolutely.
Because of just not feeding them correctly.
And that's, if you have the fish, you get it in. Mm-hmm. That's the number one thing in me, overfeeding, that's going to change the water parameters, do a lot of damage to your fish. Mm-hmm. But backing it up a half a step, before you even get that fish would be my next topic, and there's several topics lying into that topic of when you get it. Okay, I got this fish, but what are the underlying circumstances?
Yeah, you don't know what they're coming in with. Just because you can't see it doesn't mean it's not there. They might look healthy and they might be swimming actively to an extent, but they're full of parasites, or you just don't know, honestly, what the genetics are. You don't know what they're coming in with, what they've been exposed to. You just have no idea. You don't know the age of the fish. You don't know. Sometimes, yes, it's a little easy to be like, yes, this is an obvious baby, but when they're a little bit more juvenile to adult stage, you just have no idea. So you hope for the best, but sometimes there's something there that no matter how hard you try, you're going to fight against, and it's just unseen. And sometimes, yes, you can use medication to help with parasites and it works out, but sometimes they're going to pass away no matter what, because you just don't know what their genes are and what they're coming in with and what they've been exposed to.
Well, that's the trifecta of getting it from ordering it online or even your pet store. Mm-hmm. You don't know the water parameters, the parasites that might be in that fish.
I know plenty of people that sell online that if you reach out, I highly recommend them over going to a chain store, just because they are available to be like, and they're so detailed. This was hatched or dropped at this date. I fed them this in this type of tank, and they're this. Sometimes you can reach out and people are more than happy. So if you do a little digging and research and reach out, you can. But I would say I agree with you. Most often than not, you're not going to have any idea.
Yeah, you're not going to know how the fish was handled. You're going to get it. It's going to be shipped to you. And that's the most you know. You don't know the water parameters. You don't know anything else about this fish besides what you know that you've researched about said fish.
Yes. Yes. There's just all factors that go into it. So I'm always really happy when something comes in and it works out and you're like, oh my gosh, there's just so many factors, I guess, that you just don't have any idea. So just count yourself lucky when it works out. But at the same time, I don't lose a lot of fish anymore because I have friends that do breed them, and I can, reach out and know those type of answers.
Yeah. And the main thing is to really watch and look at your fish. But as you said, you can't see a lot of you're not going to see the internal parasites. You're not going to see internal parasites. Mm-mm. You can see ick eventually.
Yes.
But by the time you see it, you I mean, the whole tank is contaminated.
Yeah, and there's always...
And that's another dilemma of how to fix that tank now that you've contaminated who knows how many other fish that are in this tank.
Yeah, ick is something that I feel like it's a cold. It's like a cold. You're probably more often than not going to see it at some point. But I feel like it's always in your tank. It's just a matter of if it's kind of, lack for a better word, activated. But there
dormant.
there are diseases like ick that I feel like I have better luck treating now because I understand it a little bit more. Beforehand, I would just put ick X in the tank, and yes, it works. It's a great product, but I didn't know how to use it correctly. So there are some diseases that, if gone untreated, you will lose your fish, and if you step in and treat them however you see fit, you have a likelihood of saving them. There are some, and I'm not the best at identifying all of them, but ick is the one that I've seen. I don't see it often, but I have seen it the most out of other things. But when it comes to parasites, I feel like I don't see it a lot in the guppies I get now because, like I said, I get them from my friends that are really good breeders now. Occasionally, I'll get them from the pet store, but I usually go to the auctions and stuff when I can, and I'll get a whole bunch of guppies then. Or when we go to Aquashella, I'll get some fish there. But I don't really know. I just call it a parasite. I assume it's like a tapeworm or something, but there are medications that I've used and they work really well, but just use them as directed, because I have lost fish just because I thought I was stepping in to save them from either a bacterial infection or fin rot or something, and I just over medicated them, or I didn't medicate them right, and even though I was trying to save them, I just ended up making things worse because I didn't treat the medication in the way that it was intended to. So,
and that goes with the shipping and the handling. Again, you don't know the shipping and the handling even from the broker that gives them to your big pet store.
And it's, when it comes to shipping and handling, I think the bottom line is fish are more susceptible, if that's the word,
susceptible
sickness and in turn death when they're stressed. So shipping a fish, no matter if it's not so good of a shipper or someone that really 100% knows what they're doing, the bottom line, that's stressful. When you get them home and open the box and acclimate them, that's a stressful time. And if they're going to get sick, that's the time that they can get sick easy.
Shameless plug for our other podcast about acclimating your fish.
Yeah.
And
if that makes any type of sense.
Well, when a fish is stressed, that's going to cause it'll cause a huge even swing in the water parameters in the bag. And you're talking about shipping. You're talking about, okay, are we shipping it from a warm environment to a cold environment? Or are we going from a cold environment to a warm environment? Mm-hmm. And depending on how far they're getting shipped or moved, that is a big deal.
Well, even the netting process can, even if you're going from across the room or upstairs in the house, just netting the fish and moving it, they're going to be stressed too. So no matter what, that just period is stressful, and it can make your fish sick if you just take some extra precaution during that time and just watch them the best you can. And if you can, even in the tank too, like if you're going into a fish that's been all by itself to a community tank, even if those fish are peaceful, it's going to be stressful just because they're not used to it. And you want to have a lot of places to hide in that tank so they feel comfortable until they get used to their new environment. Just that time.
Yeah, that's
talking about why fish could pass away. It's just try, and there's always going to be a little bit of you just can't during that time. But just try to make it. Just keep that in mind that being stressed can make you sick, and same as a fish, in my mind.
Yeah, when people are stressed out, their immune system wears down, and same as moving a fish. Mm-hmm. And if it's already stressed and could possibly have something, then it's going to make it worse.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Absolutely. No other way to put it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just trying to think back on other things that I've done that's probably I would say I've lost fish because I've had a few times in years past when I've kept cichlids, I had certain decor in the tank, and they kind of, well, I'm not going to say they did get stuck. And even though they lived during that time, it just messed up their stress coat. You could tell they got scratched, and then they got sick and they died. So, and I've had certain things kind of, like moss balls. I've had some pea puffers that the moss ball during a water change would kind of move around. And one of the pea puffers honestly got kind of wedged with that moss ball on the side of the tank, and I caught it, but it got sick and it passed away. And sometimes I've had picky eaters that overall the guppies are not picky eaters. I've blessed that I like guppies because they pretty much take everything. But I've had fish in years past that were a little bit picky, and I just didn't take the time probably that I needed to get them on, because now I've researched diet, and in years past I didn't, and that's contributed to them. I've accidentally left, oh my, it's so embarrassing, but always check the fish bag. No matter how many times you think there's no fish in there, always double check the fish bag, because I've lost fish because I've just honestly left them in the fish bag, and
that's a good topic of why fish die.
Oh my goodness.
And I have actually done it.
It's
and
so
I
simple.
still feel bad to this day for the one little bitty minnow I left in that fish bag. Mm-hmm.
I've lost a lot of fish due to jumping, because either I didn't have lids, I've had improper lids, or during a water change, I guess just the cleaning of the tank spooked them and they jumped, and I would put them back in when I noticed it. Sometimes they would jump when I wasn't around, and you would walk in the fish room, and sometimes they would seem okay, but then again they would get sick and pass away. So jumping is a big thing that I always, in my mind now, it's not a question. If it's a fish, it's probably capable of jumping out of the tank. Some are known to be more jumpers, like the silver arrow one upstairs is definitely a jumper. I had a freshwater butterfly fish that jumped, but the guppies, like, it's not something that I actively come down here and see a guppy on the floor every day, but there's been times where I've come down here and occasionally there is, so jumping.
Killifish. Don't forget the killifish for the jumpers. Killifish are great jumpers.
So I just have it in my head, if it's a fish, it's probably it's capable of jumping. And that's contributed. Defective equipment, and not so much like filters, heaters. I've had defective heaters that contributed to my fish passing away. You come down here and you're like, oh my gosh. Or it's not even the heater exploded or anything, but I've come down to the fish room and for some reason during maintenance or something, it got turned up abnormally too hot. So I'd come down here and I'm like, oh my gosh, that is way too hot. Or again, in turn, way too cold. And, that's not.
You're either cooking them or freezing them.
Yeah, and I'm sure I've lost fish from that from time to time too. So, yeah, what about you? What's something you think?
I'm going to go with the jumping part. Mm-hmm. And the leaving the fish in the fish bag, because I have done that one time. Still feel bad to it to this day. Mm-hmm. I never open a fish bag the same way ever again. Never have, true. Never will. You can't make me do it.
You just feel so awful.
I swore so I checked it once, but obviously I didn't check it good enough.
And another thing that's probably pretty obvious is just things besides water going into your tank that can possibly lead to your fish passing away. I have some little, they're 20 to 30 gallon round summer tubs that I keep outside year round now. I don't keep fish in them year round anymore, but we used to move them inside and put them in an area where the kids were around, and every so often someone would spill a drink and it would somehow miraculously end up in the fish tank or the tub, and it had rice fish. I had some guppies and just some different fish through the years we'd keep in there, but it was like a Gatorade or something. And
yeah, we had some CPDs and stuff.
No, I don't think we had, but anyway, it wouldn't kill all of them, but every so often, after so many Nerf bullets would go in there, there would be a couple rice fish that passed away, and I'm sure that contributed. And animals that aren't supposed to be in your fish tank. We have a crazy cat and a rabbit that for some reason likes to mess with the fish tanks, and that definitely has led to some not so good conditions for the fish tanks.
Yes. Try to keep your animals separated if at all possible. We have a rabbit and a cat that enjoy to sometimes try to take a bath. Not eat the fish, just try to take a bath in the fish tanks. Yes,
and some other things I get. Oh, I've used certain aquarium chemical aids improperly. I don't use them so much anymore, but the pH ups and downs and the things that help with algae, I just wouldn't. I don't know why, but I just wouldn't. I didn't feel like I used them correctly. I didn't know how to dose by the directions. I guess I was too young or just didn't take the time. I'm not sure. But a lot of things in your aquariums use the oxygen. Your fish need it too, but I would see my fish gasping at the surface, and they would sometimes not all of them, but a few of them would pass away, or I would put them in too soon, and there's just not enough oxygen, and I would see them gasping a lot. And I at the time didn't know what was going on per se, so sometimes putting fish in a tank too soon, or using some chemicals that will lower the oxygen level of the tank, and that can contribute, I think, to fish sometimes passing away.
Well, that's a good point. And even just putting new fish in a tank that's not set up, that's well established, can, besides just, again, going back to another reason the fish could die, you're stressing it, and if the tank has not been cycled and set up long enough, it's not going to have enough beneficial bacteria. It's not going to have the right amount of oxygen in the water. And as soon as we go through the nitrogen cycle, you're going to fire off a lot of bad stuff.
Yeah, and another one that thinking of is just, honestly, I've lost fish through the years because they were just eaten by other fish. Either by new fry getting eaten by their parents, or just I had a cichlid in with a bass that it just did not work out at all. And then I thought it was a good idea to put a crayfish, a red one at that, in with a largemouth bass, and that was my mistake, and I learned real quick, don't ever do that again. And just, even though you do your research and on paper it says it should work, it doesn't. There's always an exception that just doesn't work. And I have a lot of shrimp tanks with guppies, and sometimes, every once in a while, I will see a guppy nipping on a shrimp. And so some things, no, don't add that fish in there. But there's other things that on paper it should work. and it doesn't. And I've
And
lost,
on paper, it shouldn't work, but it will.
It will, yeah, totally. The other way around. And then when you're breeding, you're going to probably more than likely lose a little bit to just natural
predation.
Yes, just not all of them are going to survive. So just in that I've lost some fish just because of tank mates and other things.
Well, and being eaten is just kind of the cycle of life, so to speak. And if you're going to run with a big community tank, you're going to have to experiment with it. It is not going to be an absolute science of what can go in there. You can put a lot of live bears together and it'll work, but you can't put a lot of live bears and cichlids together.
No.
And you're going to have yourself a wonderful smorgasbord.
Yeah, and
there's a lot of different tank setups you can come across and do and get outside the box. And it's very, very possible. But you're going to have to do a lot of research and you're going to have to do very small testing. Otherwise, you will have a lot of death with trying to put something in a tank with something else.
Yeah, my dad really, really loves angelfish and neon tetra together. And I've been told, don't do that. They're going to eat those neon tetra. And my dad's tank works. It just works really well. But at the same time, that you can try that. I could try that combination here and it may not work. So,
well, there was a little bit of a trick to that.
Yeah, we started them off really small, but it was just an example that I thought of.
Well, but again, that's another trick to it. If you're going to do a community tank with something that's not supposed to work, they need to both start out as juvenile together. So when they're little, that little fish doesn't fit in the other one's mouth. And as they grow up, unless they become aggressive towards each other, they're not going to want to eat the other fish. They've grown up in that glass box together, and they will want to stay in that glass box together.
Well, is there anything that you can think of adding to the list of what contributes to your aquarium fish passing away?
Well, you can just have a bad fish. It really can happen. You can have
so
bad
many
genetics.
Yeah.
Just a bad fish. You get it. It already had health problems, or you got it from the local pet store and it kind of seemed fine. And as soon as you put it in the same even water parameters that they had, things went bad real quick.
Yeah. Because I don't want to say every time I go, I don't want to put it out there that every time I go to the fish store that I get a sick fish, but there has been times where they've had one jump and it got a little messed up and they gave it to me so I could bring it home and try. But sometimes it worked out and sometimes it didn't. It's just, you don't know. And I'm not skilled enough to know what's going on the inside. And I've lost betas that I've tried to help that just were in rough condition because I assume it was fin rot. Their fins didn't look really good, but there's just so many factors. And it's one of those things that, especially in the beginning, I did lose a lot more fish than I lose now just because I was trying to do the right thing, but I was not. So there are certain things that I look for when I am shopping for fish in person. I would like to see them eat. If they're, swimming around actively, if that's the type of fish that is supposed to swim around actively, if, I don't want one that's all nipped up and just kind of swimming lethargically or with their fins clamped against them, kind of gasping at the surface. There's a few things that I look for now besides they're just pretty. But I know with the guppies, it's something small that I noticed that's not always the case, but I feel like sometimes the smaller male guppies will get outcompeted for mating and food, and that will contribute to them just kind of slowly passing away because they don't get the opportunity to one, mate, and two, eat. And that will contribute. But that's, I don't know if I can think, I'm sure there's other things, like mainly you don't want to cross-contaminate your tank.
Well, cross-contamination, I can go ahead and raise my hand on that one. Mm-hmm. I have done that once, and that was with an ick tank.
Yes.
I did not even think.
It worked out, but it could have not.
It was very early on in my start of this adventure that I'm on now. Mm-hmm. And I dipped a net in a tank that had ick in it and then moved it over to another tank that did not and was doing something else. And Kerri came unglued.
I did not. I was just like, what are you doing?
Right,
Don't do that. Don't do that.
Rightfully so, that she came unglued. It's understandable now. Mm-hmm. Back then, I did not understand it. And once I was explained it, of what I was doing and how easily I was spreading this to other tanks, I completely understood. And cross-contamination is a big, big deal. If you have a sick fish or a sick tank, in my opinion, it pretty well just needs to be quarantined like anything else.
Yeah, it's helpful if you can have a tank that's set up just as an emergency hospital tank if you notice something. I try to remove them as quickly as I notice it, but sometimes I do miss it just because I'm busy with the kids or something. And when I come down here, I'm like, oh no, I didn't know. Like, that, what? And so I'll separate it, but sometimes you can't always just be on top of it immediately, or you don't have access or somewhere to put them when they're sick. So, and there's so many different ways to treat, and there's so many different things to treat when it comes to...
Oh, there's a variety of diseases and everything. I'm just talking about one specific disease. However, that'll be a whole nother podcast about diseases.
Again, like for me personally, out of the ones that I see the most, I would say I've seen ick. But even saying that, I've only had it in the fish room maybe 3 times. And it's usually when they're first into the fish room. I'll see it, but times I catch it soon, and sometimes it might be the next day. But there's just all different types of things. So to me, giving someone that's new to fish keeping some advice, whether you see it or not, the first thing you can do is just get to know your fish. And if you see it acting differently, then that's what gets my brain
start questioning what's going on.
Is when I might even I have experience with certain diseases because I've read them in a book or I've seen them online. Some I've seen, I assume, bacterial, ick, fungus, fin rot. Like I've seen certain things, but to be like, that's 100%, that's that. I don't know for sure. That's just what I think it is from, but I like to treat things with catappa leaves and a little bit of salt and heat when it comes to ick now. But ick X works great. It's whatever you can get access to. It's just, my point is, I guess, when they're, just notice if they're acting different, and whatever you choose to use it correctly. Because if you over-medicate, under-medicate, quit using it too early or use it too long, there's so many factors with just using the medication that when I used it, made things worse. So get to know your fish, know their behavior so you know if something's wrong. And then do research and use your best judgment to do what you see fit to fix it. Because just because I say I use catappa leaves, salt, and heat to treat ick now, doesn't mean that would work for you. Well, it might be ick X. It's just use the medicine correctly.
Well, and I think on the whole topic of why fish Die.
Oh yeah, we have a topic. Yeah.
Getting right back to the point is when you get that fish for the first few days, and I feel like the new hobbyist or even the experienced hobbyist is going to really watch that fish, and that is the most important part in those first few days, that first week, 5 days, that 3 to 5 day period. Watch that fish, whether it's in your community tank, alone by itself in a tank you have set up because it's species specific tank.
Yeah, just try to alleviate stress the best you can.
And that way you're also watching for those diseases that maybe that parasite, and you're going to understand how much that fish is going to eat. So you can start out really small and then work up depending on what type of fish it is, whether it's a...
don't again fall for their tricks with their pretty cute eyes and begging for food.
Yeah, so you can start small, feeding it very little, and work up to like, oh, that's plenty enough for that fish today. It doesn't need any more.
Yes.
And you can see how it's liking the tank that you have it in, whether it's a big enough tank and all the parameters, the water parameters and everything of that tank and temperature are right for that fish. That will alleviate a lot of those problems that we're talking about right now, in my opinion.
I guess kind of wrapping up for the list of what contributes to fish passing away, is there anything in conclusion you want to say or kind of wrap up? Or
I think it's the unknown of when you get it from the fish store or you have it ordered in. It's just the unknown. Yeah,
there's just so many unknown factors. I agree with you that can work for you or against you either way. But I do think that little bit, that beginning
3 to 5 days,
is very stressful. And just remember, stress will contribute to sickness, and sickness can lead to your fish passing away. And you don't want things in your fish tank that don't belong. You don't want to overfeed them. You don't want to use cleaning products. And, washing your hands is very important, but you don't want soap in your tank. So just make sure, as little as, making sure your hands are completely clean before you put them in the tank. And jumping, there's just all different things that can lead putting your fish too early in the tank. There's just so many things and you don't want to just go through them all the time. Like right now, I don't want to stress you out thinking about all these things, but it is something to keep in mind.
Well, like I said, if your tank is cycled and that part's ready to go, no matter where you get your fish from, new or old hobbyist, 3 to 5 days, you're probably excited about that fish and you're probably going to want to enjoy that fish. So that's your time to dial in how much to feed it. Are the water parameters right? Is it in the proper conditions? Am I giving it the right diet to make it happy? And that way, the stress level goes down on that fish. And you can look for the parasites, the disease, the sickness that you don't know about that may have came with the fish by accident. And most of the time that doesn't happen on purpose. It's just part of the hobby.
Yeah. And I would beat myself up so bad, and I still do, I'm not going to lie, when I lose a fish and I feel like I contributed to it specifically, like I should have tried better. But it's something new or experienced we all have to face. It's something we all deal with. And as long, if I did do something wrong, I feel like whether I knew it or not, whether I thought I was doing the right thing or I wasn't doing the right thing, as long as I can learn and be like, okay, this is what happened, the best I can understand what happened. There's some cases that you just can't help. If they jumped out of the tank, you can put a tighter lid on, but it's still something that's probably going to happen from time. A fish is going to jump out.
What is done is done.
Yeah. But it's, like I said, it's something we all have to face. It happens to us. As long as we learn from the experience, if it's a fish that you've had forever, I mean, I get attached to a fish. I've had a day. It's just try to learn the best you can from the experience and move on. So the next time, maybe that won't be something you have to deal with. But again, there are still factors that you can't see that are unknown, and just continue to do research, because you never know what's going to happen. You don't know what you're going to see. And each time new fish come into the fish room, it might be something I've never seen before that I have to deal with, or it just will be easy going and nothing goes wrong. So
I guess the last thing that we didn't really hit on to finish up your topic was the life expectancy of the fish is different in every species. Some will live a long, long, long time.
Yeah, and some
will not.
Time.
And since you don't know that when you purchase said fish, unless it's already, you're getting it from somebody and they already have a date, time stamp. This is when the fry was hatched. This is how old this fish is. You have no clue how long that fish is going to live.
No. There's just, again, I mean, we've probably said it 15 times, but there's just so many things that go into it that you just sometimes don't know, and sometimes you do know, but there's just so many things that contribute. So that's one perk about this hobby. There's always something to learn, grow, and increase your experience level. It's always like, that's interesting. I mean, I've lost guppies during them dropping fry, and some of the fry I got out and some of the fry I didn't, but I did lose the female. And that's something that no matter how much experience I feel like I have, I don't know if I could save a guppy in that moment. Because if I intervened, I don't know if that would help or not. But there's things that will pop up that you have to learn on the fly, and things that pop up that you've read in the book but you haven't seen in person, and there's things that pop up that you might see every week, and it's just case by case, fish bag by fish bag, and
it's
aquarium by aquarium.
It is definitely fish bag by fish bag.
So I hope this helped. I hope this helped you and didn't confuse you and just bum you out. I know it's a sadder topic to talk about, but I think it's an important topic to talk about.
It's part of the hobby, and knowing the reasons they can die will help you keep them alive longer. Yes. In my opinion, you can cut a lot of these out. You can cut a lot of stress out, disease out, overfeeding out, keep your water parameters the same. There's a lot of things you can cut out that'll help you in the long run to do the best for the fish. And that's all you can do.
Yes.
And then everything else that's not in your control is not in your control.
And that's growing and learning as a fish keeper is one of the fun parts of that. There's so many fun parts of this hobby, but I feel like that's what so many, especially me, just continuing to learn, grow, try new things. Some things work, some do not. Some are a surprise that work out that you're like, wow, that's cool. I never would have thought. But yeah, hopefully this helped you. If you are curious about where to watch this podcast, you can check out ScienceGal Aquatics on YouTube under memberships for as low as 99 cents. You can watch this podcast if you prefer, but mainly just thank you so much for listening, being here with us.
Thank you for listening and tuning in, and hopefully this few facts about why fish die help you understand how you can be a better fish keeper and just extend the life of your fish for yourself on the level that you can help with. If you can't help with it and it's something uncontrollable, it's uncontrollable. That is what it is. We can only do what we can do.
Yes. And thank you for being here with us, because as we help you, you help us. And that's the best part of this community, whether here in podcast form or over on YouTube. we all help each other learn and grow, and things I didn't think about, you thought about, and things maybe you didn't think about, we can help you with. So I just love this community, and thank you for listening.
Thank you very much.
And we'll see you next week.
Next episode.
Thanks. Bye.